Hey, my name is Maya K. Douglas, and this is my unboxed story. So, I think the moment I started really unboxing myself was when I was a little girl. My mom took me to see Sarafina in the movie theaters. If you've never seen Sarafina, it is a movie about the apartheid that took place in South Africa at that time. And it was fictional, but we know that it was based on some things that are true. And I remember I think Serafina came out when I was like 5. Probably a little too young for the movie, but we were in the bathroom and we were washing our hands. And this white woman turns to me and my mom and she says, "Gee, I'm glad I'm not black." And I thought about that and I said, I don't know if she thought it was a compliment, what, and I saw how my mom nervously laughed, but that stayed with me. And so when I think about the dynamics of being a woman of color who is a writer, who is assigned to Hollywood, and I've submitted scripts and I pitch, I think about the challenges that come with statements like that. "Gee, I'm glad I'm not black." And for me, I knew that what she said was disturbing, but I also knew that I did not need to define myself for the rest of my life by a statement, feeling like, man, are there moments where I need to look at it like, man, I'm black. Am I struggling? I'm black. Is this why I didn't get this opportunity? So for me, of course, I celebrate being an African American woman, but I also feel like there are times when we are boxed in because people look at us that way and that way only. There's even scholarships built around, diversity and people being in a minority. And I said, what would the world look like if it wasn't like that? So I think when I really started to open up and I really started to change the dynamic of the way people saw me was when I stopped labeling myself. I went through this very, very challenging period in my childhood all the way up to about maybe 30. I'm 40 now. And I remember going to see this board certified psychiatrist at my church, and I was struggling with mental illness. And I remember feeling crazy. I was paranoid. I was going through so much that I had to even sleep with my mom. And how I made it through undergrad, I have no idea. It was just the grace of God. But even then, I would call myself crazy and I would subscribe to being someone who had a mental illness, not realizing that I could take control of my life and not allow that to happen. So I think even worse than someone labeling you is you labeling yourself. So if people unboxed me now and they opened up a box filled with Maya Khadija Douglas, what would they discover? They would discover a woman of resilience, a woman of motivation, a woman of excellence. They would discover a woman who is determined to not only pursue destiny without compromising her values or her story, but helping other women do the same. When I look in the mirror, I see that woman. And I also believe that the way people would brand me is they would literally say, not only is she a woman who is resilient, persevering, straight shooter, no chaser. I'm from North Philly, so you're going to get it the way I give it in a loving way. A woman of excellence, a woman of fire, a woman of passion, but also they would literally say someone who is truly overcome. I also believe when people unbox me and they open up the box pertaining to Maya Khadija Douglas, they would see a woman and discover a woman who is determined to shift and change the trajectory of her bloodline. That I went to the ends of the earth to do whatever it would take to figure out what was going on in my generation, in my bloodline, going back into the patterns of sin that so many people suffered from and struggled with in my family, to say, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want my children to deal with this. And so what do I need to do, God, in order to push back against it? So every day I'm working to make sure that I'm changing the trajectory of my bloodline. And I also want to help young women and young girls do the same. As the publisher of a magazine, Girls Anthem magazine, that features stories built and based on the gospel, helping women infuse their faith into their everyday life, I also aim to make sure women have the tools and resources they need to do the same. So thank you for joining me in this unboxed video, and I pray that it encourages and inspires you.